You asked, and here it is. Here's how I turned these scrap fabrics into these beautiful, soft baby blocks. So first I took my scraps and I sorted them kind of by color family, and I cut myself out 4-inch blocks. You're going to need 6 squares per baby block that you want to make. I'm going to customize these, so I printed off the name Malik and some numbers. I got my OmniGrid ruler and some heat and bond to get those appliques done. But the first thing I need to do is get all of these trued up to the right size. So I'm going to use my ruler, and I'm going to do 3-inch blocks, which means I need to get all of these cut down into 3.5-inch squares. All right, keep those little scraps that come off of them because you're going to need those. I've cut out my letters, and I know what you're thinking. Is that a sleeve? Yes, it is. I upcycled this shirt, and t-shirt material is the perfect applique fabric. So I cut out just enough to fit my letters, and then I'm going to cut out a strip of this heat and bond and use my iron to attach that to the back of that piece of fabric. I get the heat and bond attached, and now I'm going to put my letters backwards. They need to be mirrored because you're going to trace them on here and then cut them out. And the really cool thing about this heat and bond is once you cut these letters out, you have like an iron-on patch. You just peel off the backing, and you're going to be able to stick that onto the block. Now I ironed some guide marks into my blocks just so I can find the center. With those letters ironed on, of course, I'm going to stitch them down for extra durability. And now this part is optional, but I'm going to use some foam stabilizer to give these a nice crispy square shape. And so I cut out 3-inch squares of that, and I'm going to attach that to the pieces that are going to be the front and back. So the pieces with the applique and then the back side are going to get the stabilizer. So I sew the 4 sides that don't have stabilizer first, and then I add on the other 2. And then once you start sewing up the sides of the box, it's going to look like this. And then that last back piece, you're going to sew the 3 sides and leave one of them with an opening so that you can do the fun part, which is flip this guy inside out. And you just rinse, repeat. All right, those are all of my blocks, all sewn together, looking very nice. And now I'm going to stuff them. My technique for stuffing is I like to do polyfill on the bottom, and then I stuff it with those scraps to make these blocks have a really nice weight. My helper is here, and then once I have the weight that I want, I put polyfill on the top and close that bad boy up with an invisible stitch, also known as a ladder stitch. And again, rinse and repeat. Now, I made these to be a gift, so of course I made a custom box. The tutorial for that I'll upload soon. But that's how they came out. Super cute.